Okay guys, let's pull into this roadside rest area and I'll tell you what's wrong with this 22 model MT-03 Yamaha. Thanks for tuning into the channel while I do my honest review on the 2022 model Yamaha MT-03. Now, I think we'll go what I don't like about the bike. Because I've done 45 kilometres so far on it. Picked it up a few days ago. Cost me 7,900 Australian dollars. I watched several reviews on this bike from people who, different parts of the world, they borrow these bikes from a dealer, go out, take it for a run and tell you everything you want to know about it. And in most cases what they tell you about is just a load of crap. Like, they don't even tell the truth. Like, I was under the impression I was get on this bike and have very little vibration. Not the case. They said there was no vibration running along at 100. I was running along at 100 up there and definitely vibration in the bars, slight bit in the pegs too. But these guys, where they go back and borrow bikes and go out and test, they don't tell you the bloody truth. Gives you the shits each time you get out there and take a bike for a run, and they can't keep that side of it straight. So as it is now, there is vibration. Let's get it. There's vibration. It's in the bars. It's a buzzy vibration. It's not a heavy knock like you'd find on a CRS 300L. Or CB500X, and if you say what do I know about those two bikes, well, I've owned 4 CB500Xs, one 300L, so I know exactly how they knock. It's not a solid knock like one of those, and it's also not a solid vibration knock like what you'd find in a classic 500 Royal Enfield. Those ones have got really good knockers. So if you look at it that way, first thing I found out on this run, 45 kilometres down, out on the road, just like the other guys testing them, this has got bar vibration. You know, you'd need a tail tidy on that for sure. Like, let's go around and have a look at it both ways. That is really bad, isn't it? Sort of shocking. But take into account that's on other new bikes too, so it's just not this one here. I don't really know what they were thinking about putting this horn just here at the front. I thought they may have been able to conceal a little bit of back end. They might have been able to get something in behind the far side of this air vent rather than set it there. I must admit the seat is a little bit firm on that 1.5 acres of goodness of mine. So I do notice the seats a bit on that one. The brakes aren't real good. Well, I'll agree on that one. They're a bit spongy at the moment when you're hitting them, but I think they will improve because it's a very similar spongy effect like on the X-Max 300, and that's the 22 Model 2. So they're both sort of equal in that line. And, you know, after they get a few hard applications, they might bed in a little bit better, but you're on a 300cc, so it's not as if you're on a leader bike, so it's good enough for that side. Your throttle on this one, like if you look at my hand thumb there and I turn it, it goes around quite a good turn. I did read somewhere that you could put an R6 throttle on this one and it'd improve that side of it. Now, I'm not sure about that one because they might have improved it since then, but I won't know till I get out there and ride it a bit quicker, I suppose. But at this stage, that's something to think about. See this switch gear here to put your indicators? That would be the worst bit of switching I've ever seen on a motorbike. That is really like a $10 special. It's a really bad switch gear. So it might go with the price of the bike, and as you get up into a, you know, the 7, 9 or 10, the big stuff, they may improve it in that line. So we'll get back on the bike, head off up the road, pull over another spot, and then I'll see if I can find something to tell you about what I like. Pink elephant. Let's pull over here and I'll tell you what I think is good about this bike. We're here now and I've clocked 85 kilometres on this Yamaha MT-03, 85 Ks. There you go. And I'll tell you what I like about it. I must admit, 40 kilometres later, I've certainly changed my tune on this one. This really is a great little bike. I'm that impressed by how things have been going along here and we've been riding it around. I would say that this little bike would be in the top 5 of motorbikes I've bought over the last 10 years. So that's a pretty good claim, by me anyway, you know, in the top 5. Now you might say, you know, like you might have only owned 5 bikes. No, not the case. Over the past 10 years I've owned 58 brand new motorcycles. So, and I'm saying this one here would be at this stage in the top 5 of those. So I'm really impressed by how this little bike's going. You heard about the bad side, but always there's a good side, so we'll go into the good side now. First up, I'd have to say that the build quality of this Yamaha is really good. Like, I've been over it. If you have a look at it now, it's virtually a really top, I'd give it 10 out of 10 on how it's put together in as far as the build quality, because I really just can't look over it and find any faults. Like, it's just really well put together as far as that goes. So no complaints there whatsoever. Now, this is one of the most impressive things about it. This bike has got really good fueling. And what I mean by that, I have not experienced any jerky throttle or anything like that, and you can bring it down. At one stage up there, I went through that town and I'm doing 50 kilometres or 30 mile an hour, and I'm cruising through there in 5th gear, and I was still able to hit the throttle slightly and bring it up to 60 without changing into a lower gear, and just like that. It's really torquey. And as far as I'm concerned, really super smooth. And there's nothing worse than a bike when you get out there and you're going along and it jerks, carries on, stuff like that. Just really annoying. But this one here, really nice throttle. You're buying the bike for the first time and you're a learner, this is perfect. Look at that low seat height. No trouble at all getting on and off it, if you like that sort of thing. It's also fitted with dual channel ABS. Now, it's not the ABS system like in some of the bikes where it's switchable, where you can flick off the back one. No, that's not the case. The ABS on these ones on all the time. So, but the fact is it's got it, and you know, like ABS and some of the bigger bikes on traction control, really a plus for a new rider. So you've got a good thing going for you there, dual channel ABS. Now, when I first looked at the mirrors on this one, I thought, I was wondering if they'd be any good at all or not. But believe it or not, when you're out there cruising at 100 kilometres an hour, they're very good to see out of. You don't have any trouble. A little bit of elbow I see when I'm looking back. And as far as that one goes, you know, nice clear vision. Really good suspension on this. Like, I was hitting some bad bumps back there. Not purposely, just got no choice. And, you know, we just ran over those bumps with no trouble whatsoever. So I'd reckon later on when this bike's run in, it'd be a great little handler, no risk whatsoever. Little bit of an exhaust note there as you go along. You know, you don't have to rush out and upgrade to a better exhaust, anything. I can't really think of anything you'd want to do to the bike except get on it and ride it and put some good kilometres on it, because I must admit it's a really good bike. Like I said, I've had 58 of them over the last 10 years, and I'm putting this right up in the top 5. As far as that goes, for $7,900 right away here in Australia. And look at it, like, really nice paintwork on it, nice fit and finish, everything you'd want on a bike. But as far as that goes, it was pulling along those, and you know, if you hit the accelerator and give it a little bit of touch, you can feel it move forward. And one good thing about it for the newbies, it's got LED headlight, tail light, indicators. So, you know, it's got a lot going for it, this bike. So anyway, what we might do is get back on the bike, go up a bit further, and we'll pull over and try somewhere else. So we've done one at 45, now we're on 85. We'll give it another run up along the road. I'm 111 kilometres into the run-in on this bike, so that side's all right. So just a little bit of data on me. So I'm 5'9", weigh 85 kilos, and got a 32-inch inseam. So I have no trouble at all getting on and off this bike, and I think most people would be able to get on this with no drama whatsoever. For me, it's not cramped, so it's fairly comfortable. I was really giving it a slight workout out there on that back road a while ago, and I tell you what, it really goes well. So I'm really impressed with this. Really a fun little bike to ride along and get into it like that. So I'm pretty happy as far as things go that way, and very happy now with the purchase, and really happy with the ride there so far. Now, whether this bike would be any good if you were, say, up around that 6 foot mark, it's just hard to say whether or not you'd feel a little bit cramped on it. Its handling of the bumps pretty good, because I often ride these roads with other bikes I've got, and I can tell that this suspension on this one's pretty good, really, you know, like, in fact, better than some of those, because it can sort of take it and go over them, and you hardly notice you float over them. I'm really like the experience of the you know, the run-in at 6,000 revs, like you can hit along at 100 kilometres an hour, like I said earlier, no trouble there whatsoever. Even on the run-in stage, if you even drop to, say, 45 mile an hour or 70, and then want to accelerate back up to 100, it'll just take off with a roll on the throttle. Haven't tried a heavy hard hit because I don't ride like that, but on a roll-on side, it just does it quite easy. So apart from that, and it's a really good looking bike, and I'm really happy that I got onto this one, and I reckon I can put up quite a few kilometres on this. I'm enjoying the ride, and once again, look at that brilliant blue colour, and it really looks the part. I've only been breaking it up in these short intervals for a pullover just to give it a chance to cool down a bit. There's no use getting out here on a new bike and belting the crap out of it. With 41 horsepower on tap, and I'm used to riding 20 horsepower bikes, I can really notice a difference in that extra 20 horsepower, because it just cruises along so well, and you know, it's just a really well managed bike. And you know, I think even now the brakes, when I come into this spot here, up there I give them a little bit of a touch up, and they perform fairly well there too. It's a little bit warm out here today compared to where I live, and you can tell it's probably a good 5 degrees warmer out here, and not quite as windy. So what we'll do, get back onto it, head to the next spot, and like I said, I've done 111 Ks on it now, loving the bike. So really, I'm really happy that I got onto this little $7,900 bargain. Hi guys, once again thanks for tuning in, and if you've stayed this long looking at the content, and I hope you enjoyed it, I'm going to break it up into 2 sections now, because it's just going too long. Because this clip actually test ride, you could say, are known as test ride of the bike, well, I actually did 270 kilometres on that ride, so it's just going to go too long, and I don't think anyone will want to watch it for that long. So if I break it up, that'll make it a little bit better there. In part 2, you'll see it run through more corner country. You'll see the drone come out on that one, and I'll be doing sort of talking as I'm riding along there with it. So that's something a little bit different in part 2. Plus, more importantly, I'm going to compare it to previous bikes I've purchased brand new compared to this one here. And those bikes will be a Duke 390, a CB 500X when I had those ones, Honda CRS 300L, the Yamaha and the Honda scooters, they were 300 and 350 cc's. And the Verzi 300, and I think there was a couple of other ones there too. And you know, like, I've had a lot of bikes, so around that one, you know, as far as things go. So once again, if you want to come back, and you know, even a thumbs up would be appreciated, because a fair bit of effort went in to put this together. And the best thing about this, when you're watching it, I always give my bikes a good honest report. If they're crap or anything like that, I would have just told you by the time we'd got to this stage. You don't buy one of these bikes, they're junk, but it's not the case, they're good. And in all honesty, a lot of the YouTubers just talk crap and won't tell you the truth about anything. Where if I go out and buy something that doesn't come up to scratch, I don't mind telling you, and then just load it off and let somebody buy it a bit cheaper, and they're happy with that, and I'm happy to get rid of it. So that's the way I work. But what I can say at this stage, the MT-03 is a really good bike. I'm really impressed with it. It's good on the price, and I think if you're on the fence and you're thinking of buying one of these bikes, if you're happy with 300 cc's and 41 horsepower like I am, I think you'd be very happy out there cruising along the road, because it just does everything effortlessly. And sure, it's got a couple of minor things which I picked out in the beginning, but that's no big drama. Like I've had really expensive bikes, and they've had problems too, so what's the difference? Expensive bikes, expensive cars are all the same. They're all got faults, so it doesn't matter. You can't get anything perfect, and I just thought I'd point out that stuff because I don't recall many people saying anything about them, and I might as well just tell it as I see it, and you get a good honest review of what's going on. So once again, thanks for tuning in, taking a look, and I hope you come back and look at part 2.